Hello everyone. It's been a while since I made one of these tutorial videos, and honestly the reason why I'm making this one in particular is because I feel like there were a few more things left on the table for this particular subject. I'm talking about the Street Fighter 6 collaboration in which you're able to play as Akuma, a character in Street Fighter 6, obviously. This isn't just a simple armor set either. This set allows you to beat up monsters as if you were in Street Fighter 6 itself, with your bare hands and feet. It's actually pretty cool and complex, so let me give you guys a couple of tips that I wish I knew when I started using it. Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. The first one on this list is something that I haven't seen many people talk about, or tutorial videos cover really. This has to do with the third attack in the light combo, which is a more powerful version of the Hadouken move. Most videos will refer to it as a really powerful move, which it is, but what they don't tell you is that while you're performing an attack, you can neither dodge nor offset. For this attack move in particular, that can be detrimental, since this move takes much longer than most of the other attacks. Does it do a lot of damage? Yes. But it's not worth you getting stuck in the animation when you really need to dodge or offset. Remember, you're using your bare hands and feet with this guy, so you got to get right up in the monster's face. I'm talking about tickling his mustache hairs, which means you need to be ready to dodge in a moment's notice. That moment which is robbed by this attack. So my tip for this one, don't use it unless the monster is knocked down. The combos for this guy are just to press any of the 3 buttons 3 times to get the 3 moves designated to that button. But you can skip moves and go up to the next tier, light, medium, and heavy respectively. Therefore, you should go square, square, and skip straight to the triangle or circle attack, since the third square attack is what does this stronger Hadouken move. By skipping this attack, you will still be able to get off multiple hits, but you will avoid the animation lock it causes. Again though, if you have a bigger window, go for it. The second thing is something that the game itself confuses you on. See, the way the whole thing works is not as a new weapon, but rather as functions in your toolbar. By using the basic fist function, you start with the first attack move, and from there you can go on to the other combos, and waiting too long will take you out of the, well, I suppose you could call it a stance, so waiting too long will take you out of the stance, just a side note there. The offset and Hadouken are also other functions that you can interact with in the toolbar. When you start the arena quest that comes after meeting the main man himself, you're greeted, as usual, with multiple walls of text. One of these walls recommends that we add all these functions into the radial menu in order to have easier access to them in time of need. So your first thought would be to put all the functions into the radial menu to make it easier, right? Wrong. The better option is to keep the fist icon as your current slotted function in your square slot, and since the Slinger Hadouken is fairly easy to equip, you'll just equip that when you start a quest and leave it at that. In your radial menu, the moves you'll want to put are simply the Drive Impact or Offset move and the Hadouken, and then add in some essentials like Optimal Recovery and Optimal Status Recovery, and maybe a ration, that way you can leave your fists in the square slot as much as possible. This will keep your radial menu nice and clean, and one more thing, I'd recommend putting this radial menu next to your regularly used radial menu, just to make it easier to go there and get stuff you normally do. Another thing I wanted to recommend is not to just use the Drive Impact move to do the offset, but to use it to also beat down wounds. For those of you who don't know, this move, the Drive Impact, does an offset and it can also destroy wounds. Now some of you might be saying, well duh bro, that's the stupidest tip I've ever heard. And I know it may seem super obvious, but if you're like me, or maybe I'm the one who had to struggle at it, I don't know, you may have hyper-focused on doing offsets. See, in order to do the move, you have to have this meter filled. So seeing as I wanted to do a lot of offsets, I saved this move for offsets and forgot to use it for wounds. Let me tell you, don't do this. The thing is that this meter fills up so quickly that even if you want to try to do a bunch of offsets, you'll still have plenty of opportunities to do that, even with the occasional wound destroyer. So make sure you do these moves, because they can actually open up big windows for you to be able to do your full combos. Last of all, the tip I have is to use your regular weapon along with the Street Fighter combos. Again, if you're like me, you'll probably want to get really good at the combos, the timing, the offset, and that's all fine and dandy. But let me tell you that it actually works really well when combined with another weapon, especially a cutting weapon. Think about it, with this armor set you have access to quick and easy KO damage, an instant offset attack, to an unlimited amount of one of those stronger slinger ammos in the game that can get you an instant escape from a grapple. Now be aware that in order to use any of these things you need to be using the armor itself, or you can just buy the emotes from the PlayStation Store, but I mean, come on son. But like I was saying, there are some monsters that aren't as weak or susceptible to blunt damage, like the new Udra for example. So bring your longsword or your greatsword and use them. Swap between both of them, especially until you get the hang of playing as Akuma. Trust me, if you try to only use Akuma, you'll probably end up just giving up, unless you're naturally gifted in this regard. So use Akuma's moveset against the not so crazy larger monsters, use it on open wounds, or when the monsters get knocked, and get in a few hits every now and then when you can. It works better than you think. And those are all the tips I have for you guys today. Let me know if you found any of these helpful, and hey, hate comments are still comments, so hate away my friends. What do you guys think of this collaboration and the armor that comes along with it? I personally like it. It has a Vade window, part destroyer, and it's pretty easy to upgrade. Although I will admit that it's pretty pathetic in terms of slots. Thanks so much for watching you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.